What's going on, everybody? Episode 218 of the White Cat Outdoors podcast, bringing you to the table while we talk about the outdoors. This week, we're still on the Predator train, but this week we've got Austin back in the studio once again. He completed the Mosquito Creek Coyote tournament this past weekend, but he was doing all of his hunting during the day for the most part. Him and a team of guys went out, killed nearly a dozen coyotes on the weekend, and just a totally different style of hunting than me and Tom are used to. So it was kind of interesting to hear the difference in the tactics, but obviously still a very successful way to do it. So I'm going to quit rambling, and let's get tuned in to this week's episode.
I pull up my bow, and then I look dead at his antlers. I got out of the truck, and when I slammed the door, I heard gobbles all around me.
Let's see it.
Alaska, moose, spot and stalk. That is the bucket list. I agree.
White Cat Outdoors. White Cat Outdoors.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is you're listening. Thank you for choosing the White Cat Outdoors podcast. I'm your host tonight, bringing you in, and with me I got the Bedtime Beastbusters.
Well, that sounds really gay.
Yeah, we never said that out loud.
No.
Should we start over?
We'll cut that out.
Yeah, we'll cut it.
Maybe we'll just roll with it.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, Nick, Austin, and I are taking a dive into coyote hunting, and we came up with a Snapchat group name, and it was the Bedtime Beastbusters. But
I figure you just got to make it as like gay as possible.
that was the first time it was said out loud,
And it's gayer than I thought.
yeah, doesn't really roll off the tongue like we were hoping. Anyway, I got Nick and Austin in the studio.
Absolutely. What's going on?
What's going on, guys?
And this week we're going to still be on the predator hunting.
But it's not bedtime anymore.
No, it's daytime. There's multiple ways to hunt a coyote. And last week we kind of discussed doing it at night with calls and thermals and night vision or red lights, whatever you're into.
But we did discuss what was going on last weekend, which is why this was kind of so pertinent.
Yeah.
So there was a big tournament here in Pennsylvania. I believe it is statewide.
Yeah, whole state.
The Mosquito Creek, I don't know exactly what the official name of the tournament is, but...
It's Mosquito Creek Coyote Tournament.
Yeah. So basically it's a 3-day hunt with a check-in at the end, like noon or something on Sunday.
Yeah, it starts on Friday morning and it goes to...
Friday at midnight or whatever. So like Thursday night, once it hits midnight into Friday.
Yeah, you get the full 24 hours of Friday, full 24 hours of Saturday.
And 12 hours of Sunday.
And then
I think
Sunday
it's
you get
2 o'clock. You got to check in.
2 o'clock.
So, about 12 hours of Sunday. And like I said, there's two schools of thought when it comes to, or not two schools of thought, but like two different ways people hunt coyotes. It's whether they're at night or during the day. And then in the daytime, it can be broken up similar to night hunting or with dogs. And that's kind of what we're going to discuss with Austin here tonight. Because Austin was on a team for Mosquito Creek. So run us down kind of what your guys' setups were. Like, what was your strategy for hunting coyotes for the weekend?
So this is my first year entering in this tournament, so everything was new to me, kind of learning everyone, understanding how they're playing the game, I guess. And the first day, Friday morning, I got out of work and we started hunting, and they were putting on a drive with the dogs, and there was about 4 or 5 dogs ahead running that day, and they already shot 2 that morning, and I ended up getting one coming in about 80 yards with a shotgun. And
That's a heck of a poke.
yeah. Well, I'm using whatever they call it, the
Buckshot or
yeah, something like that. I think it's a little
They have
different.
like predator rounds, don't
yeah,
they?
yeah,
It's similar to buckshot, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
right. And then yeah, we did that, and we finished the weekend, and we did some night hunting too that night.
It was just tough with the snow that we got this weekend. It made it really difficult to coyote hunt at night.
Right.
But
So you said you were doing, so essentially are you just using the dogs to push chunks of timber towards you in hopes that they kick up a coyote and have it run towards you?
Yeah, it'd be about half and half standing, half walking with the dogs, and they're kind of just pacing behind the dogs. And most of the time when they get on a coyote, the coyote just circles around. It kind of just keeps looping and moving. So you're kind of, if you're on stand, you're just standing there with a shotgun listening to the radio, hearing what the guys are saying, or if the dogs are coming up to you. But overall, it was a pretty cool experience. But yeah, that's about it.
so, how many coyotes did you guys get by the end of the weekend?
It was about a dozen.
That's pretty good numbers, really, for just a weekend of coyote hunting and stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess were you carrying a shotgun the whole time, or?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a shotgun. My dad was using a 204, I believe. He ended up hitting one. I think he shot 3 times at it, rolled it, and someone else ended up taking it. But
I guess that's one of the benefits is you got enough people in the woods and stuff because they are running pretty much constant. You probably don't see them stop too much.
no. I mean, when a dog's on them, the dog could either be right on its tail or 200 yards away. You don't know, so you always got to keep an eye open.
Was it difficult, like Friday and Saturday in the daytime, we didn't have any snow. The snow didn't really start until Friday or Saturday night.
Yeah.
So is it difficult not being able to cut coyote tracks and say, okay, I know we're on a trail now?
Yeah, definitely a lot easier with snow on the ground. Luckily enough, Friday morning we didn't have any snow, but we ended up killing like 6 that day, which is pretty cool.
So is it mostly the dogs getting on their trail, like crossing the scent, and do the dogs have GPS collars?
Yeah.
So you're kind of...
I honestly don't know too much about that because I wasn't on letting the dogs outside. I was usually on stand or just pushing on my own. But I believe that's how they do it. They just let the dogs out and they'll get a good preference where they get a track and they start running it.
Because you said the coyotes, they tend to make loops.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if, that dog gets on the scent of a coyote and you're watching the GPS tracker and you can kind of get an idea of where that coyote's running his loop, and then if you could get in there and cut him off.
Yeah, we've done that too. If we say there is a coyote circling around in a swamp or something, we'll kind of move in on it too. But
That's interesting though. So run us through the coyote you shot, kind of like what you were doing, why you were at the spot you were, and then just kind of take us through your shot.
right. So I was kind of following my dad. We were going in off a field edge, and there was a kind of a swamp or a kind of a hilltop ledge going down into a swamp. And he said, "Go stand over there," because usually they'll run the top of the hill or at the bottom of the swamp. And that's exactly what happened. It came right at me. I was standing on the edge where I could look over and look on top of the hill, and it came directly at me.
Nice.
Made my shot, yeah.
How far was the dog behind it?
It
Could
was
you even
probably,
see the dog?
I heard him coming, but it was probably over 100 yards.
Nice. So did you guys get paid out at all for your coyotes? Like, you guys have any in like the top contenders, or I guess what was your biggest coyote?
I honestly don't know. I didn't even get feedback what place we took or anything like that.
So I know it's a pretty substantial payout. They do first, second, and third, and then heaviest female.
Yeah.
And I know typically first place is anywhere from $8,500 to $10,000, depending on how many people show up.
That's insane.
And I know that heaviest female is typically paid out very similar to first prize.
Yeah, that's because I know, and typically like and I don't know, obviously where everybody's listening, it could be a little bit different, but here in Pennsylvania, if you're not above 50 pounds, you're not in the running for first place, which seems crazy. Like, that's a huge coyote. But if you could kill a 45, 47 pounder, you're not in the running for first place.
That just kind of goes to show you how many 50-pound coyotes are really out there, because it seems like everyone that sees a coyote is 55, 60-pound coyote.
Yeah. And I've heard 70.
Yeah, well, they did a statewide tournament. Okay, like I think 53.15 won it. I think in the whole statewide tournament there was like 4 or 5 coyotes turned in over 50 pounds.
And there was 41 hunters in the woods.
4,100.
That's what I said, 4,100.
It sounded like you said 41 hunters.
The 4,100 hunters, yeah. Hunteds. Remember that song?
That was a good tune.
Yeah.
But yeah, just, I mean, a 50-pound coyote is a giant, is I guess the point I'm trying to.
Absolutely, yeah. That's, like I said, I knew some guys that had some, upper 40s, and actually we do know the guy that ended up winning it, right? Or did his got beat out.
Yeah.
So he took second place.
With 53 even.
Yeah. Which
and
is
53.15 won it.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it like you said, there's with 4,100 hunters in the woods, and just a handful at 50, you're 60. I mean, there may be a 60-pound coyote running around out there, but it's not nearly as common as what you hear from people.
No.
Because I've heard that number before too. With this coyote had to have been 60 pounds. Well, I don't know.
It's a big dog.
Yeah.
Did you get yours weighed?
No, I didn't weigh mine.
Was male or female?
It was a female. It was like a nice blonde color, too.
Now, did you get to keep the coyote?
No, because they all get loaded in the bed of the truck and they're racing over to the tournament to get them weighed. I mean, I could have put a tag on it, but I said screw it. It was laying in my truck bed and I had to pull it up. I ripped half the hide off trying to get it out of my truck bed.
Oh, because it froze?
Yeah.
Oof. You'll have that.
And those warm days, you start losing hair on those.
They'll start to pull or slip. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
good time though.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I learned a lot doing it, but yeah, I'm happy to.
You seem like you're leaning more towards the night hunting the more we talk to you.
Yeah, I do like the night hunting. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know half the guys really over on the day shoots, but night hunting
that
is
might be
fun.
different. It'd definitely be fun. I really enjoy hunting them at night, and I'm enjoying getting on, the experience and getting a little bit better and hopefully more consistent as the year goes on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about wrapped up there. Yeah, Tom, you got anything else before we close her out here?
Bedtime Beastbusters out.
That's terrible. Well, I can't possibly end it on that, so I'm going to close this off like we always do. You guys know what to do. Get outside.